things were not looking good for God's people. They had been captured and took far from home, and now they were slaves for the king of Babylon. But God had not left his people. He was looking after them. Daniel loves God and obeys him. Now God made Daniel able to understand a lot of different things. So it wasn't long before the king of Babylon noticed them. King Darius liked how clever Daniel was, so he put him in charge of a lot of other helpers. The other helpers didn't like this. They want the king to like them best. They want to get rid of Daniel. So they spied on Daniel, and he tried to find things wrong with Daniel, things they could tell the king, things they could, but there wasn't none, except every day, 3 times a day. No matter what, Daniel went to his room, closed the door, and prayed. And they smiled themselves and get the king to make a law. No one is allowed to pray to anyone except to the king. Daniel wouldn't obey this law, and he will be punished. They were pleased with themselves for being so clever and hurried off to tell the king. The king liked their idea. He didn't know we're tricking him. He made it into the law. Pray only to me, and if you don't, the lions would have you for dinner. Daniel heard this. He knows it was wrong to pray to anyone except to God. He had to do what God said, whatever it cost him. So Daniel went behind closed doors and prayed. That's just what the bad man knew Daniel would do. Oh, magisterial writings, it would seem that Daniel is praying only to God, not to you. The king was sad. He had been tricked. Didn't want to hurt Daniel. Couldn't change the law. And so he let the soldiers throw Daniel to the lions. May your God, who you love so much, rescue you, said the king. The king went back to his palace, but he didn't sleep that night, not even a wink. He tossed and turned until finally, at a first glimmer of dawn, he leaps out of his bed, ran straight to the den. Daniel, he cried, has your God rescued you? Yes, Daniel shouted. God sent an angel, closed the lion's mouth. The king brought Daniel out of the den. Look, he said, Daniel didn't even had a scratch. The king made a new law. Daniel's God is the true God, God who rescued, prayed to him. Instead, God would keep rescuing his people, and the time was coming when God would send another brave hero like Daniel, who would love God and do what God said, however it cost him, even if it meant he would die. And together they would pull off the great rescue the world has ever known.